you guys are going to learn how to find percents related to taxes, tips, commissions, discounts, markups, and any other real-world application of percents. We're going to be using the percent of formula in order to do this. So these are like real-world applications of when you're going to be using percents in your real life. An important lesson. So basically, we're just going to look at a whole bunch of different percent problems to show you how to apply the percent formula or the formula that we attribute to percents. We're also going to look at how to solve these types of problems using equations, and however you choose to solve these is up to you. You just have to make sure that you're showing adequate work. So we'll start with the Soham buys a soccer ball that is originally $20 on sale for 20% off. So if we think of our is over of equals percent over 100 formula, 100 always goes on the bottom of the second fraction and the percent always goes on the top. Now the entire amount or the whole goes on the bottom of the first fraction, and the portion that we're trying to find becomes our value of x. So in this case, 100x equals 400, and when we divide by 100, we get x equals 4. So what that means is the soccer ball is going to be discounted by $4. So the discount is going to be $4. And then in order to find out what the sale price is, you have to take the original price and subtract the discount. So the sale price, how much Soham actually pays, would be $16. So he would get $4. He would pay $4 less. We could also think about this. We could also think about this as an equation, and if we make it an equation, then we would have to say, okay, the discount is going to equal 0.2, which is 20% as a decimal, times the $20, and when you do that, your discount's going to equal $4, and then you can just, to find your sale price, you can just subtract 4 from 20, and then you would get the same $16. The third way we can think about it is if our goal is just to find the sale price. So if what is the discount was not in our equation, we could say, well, the sale price would be 80%, because if 100% is the original price and we're discounting it by 20%, it means that we're going to be paying 80%. So to go directly to the sale price, if that's all we were being asked, we could say, okay, x over 20 equals 80 over 100, and that 80 is the 80%. And then when we did our multiplication, when we divide it by 100, we would get right to our sale price of $16. I'll do the second problem a couple of different ways as well. In this case, Miranda buys a pair of new cleats for $50 and marks them up 30% before selling them. So a markup is when you take the original price and you add on to the price, whereas a discount is taking away from the price. So in this case, when we set it up, we're still going to say, okay, our 100 goes on the bottom of the second fraction, our percent goes on the top. $50 is the amount that we're trying to find the percent of. So in this case, when we go through the process of cross multiplying, and when we end up dividing by 100, we get that x is going to equal $15. So that means Miranda is going to add $15 onto how much she paid before she sells it. So in other words, she's going to make $15 off of this deal. So to find the selling price, you would add 50 plus 15, and you would get that she would sell her cleats for $65. If we wanted to use the equation method, we could say if we wanted to find 30% of $50, because really you're finding 30% of 50 and then marking it up, you could do 0.3 times 50, and then you would get that the markup equals 15. If you wanted to go directly to the selling price would be the 100% that Miranda pays, which is $50, and then the 30% extra that she pays. So you could just say 1.3 times 50, which would get you directly to the $65 that we got as the original selling price. So if you want to get right to if you just want to, so I'm going to do these just one way, using the percent proportion. I'll also model the equation, but I'm going to focus on the percent proportion. So in this case, we have 100 on the bottom of the second fraction because Jared buys a sandwich for $7 and pays 8.2% sales tax. In that case, the 8.25 goes on the top. the $7, which is the total he's going to pay, goes on the bottom, and X goes on the top. You're going to have to use your calculator, which you should be using to find out what 8.25 times 7 is. So you end up getting that 100x equals 57.75. So when you divide both sides by 100, you get x equals 57.5775. And because we are talking about cents or money, you're going to end up always rounding to the hundredths place, even though nobody's going to tell you that. I'm not going to remind you to round to the hundredths when it's money. So that's how much in tax that Jared's going to pay. But Jared's also going to spend the $7 on the sandwich. So if we want to know how much he's going to pay in total, he's going to pay $7.58 for his sandwich and the tax on his sandwich. Again, you could use an equation for this if you really felt like using an equation. The equation would end up being the percent as a decimal, so you'd remember to move it over 2 places, multiplied by the $7, and we should end up getting straight to 0.5775, which we then would have to round to 0.58, which would be the amount of tax, and then you would add it to $7. So again, Jared would still be paying $7.58 for his sandwich. So Frances goes to a restaurant. She spends $20 and wants to tip the waiter 18%. 100 on the bottom, 18 on the top of the 100. 20 is the total she's spending. We want to know how much 18% of that is. So when we end up multiplying, we get 100x equals 360. When we divide by 100, we get x equals $3.60. We get 3.6, but we know it's money, so it would be $3.60. She's going to tip the waitress $3.60, which means in total she's going to spend $23.60 because she's going to spend that $20 on her food and the $3.60 for the tip. Remember the dollar sign, which I've been forgetting, but you should not. So commissions are money that people make based on how much they sell. So like car dealers make commissions, real estate agents make commissions, and certain employees work on commissions. So they don't really get as much of a base salary. They earn a percentage of their total sales. So real estate agents that sell really, really large, expensive houses make more money than real estate agents that sell smaller, less expensive houses. So that's what a commission is. So basically, a commission is how much you make based off of a quantity, dollar amount of items that you sell. So in this case, again, in order to find 25% of the $400 that Chrisman sells in merchandise, 100 on the bottom, 25 on the top, 400 on the bottom, X on the top, because you're basically trying to figure out how much that would be. And again, if you're one of those bridge method people, you could be like, oh, I multiply by 4 to get from 100 to 400. Ooh, I'm going to multiply by 4 to get from 25 to whatever X is. And you'd end up figuring out that X is $100. If you tried to solve this, then you would get 100X equals 10,000. There's another 0 there. And then so X would still equal that 100 that you found. That means that Chrisman makes $100 because she has a 25% commission off of the amount that she sells. Just think about what her commission would have been if she sold $4,000 worth of merchandise, or $40,000 worth of merchandise, or even better, $400,000 worth of merchandise. For the last problem, this is just a basic percent problem. Just want to tie it all in together because what I'm hoping you're noticing is the theme of, I don't care whether I'm asking for discount, markup, commission, tax, tip, or just a normal percent problem. I'm finding the percent of, and then I'm looking to see what the question is asking me. So sometimes I'm going to stop after I find the percentage, and other times I'm going to either have to add it or subtract it from some amount. So if there's 140 kids in the grade, I want to find 35% of them. So 35 goes over 100. I don't know what goes over X. And then I end up doing some multiplication. So 100X equals 4,900. So when I divide both sides by 100, I get that X equals 49. So that means that 49 students out of the 140 in the grade like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.